Warning, the following video is rated R for retarded. In a world full of crime, corruption, destruction, and suffering, one man stands up and decides to do what no one else will. He will put his life on the line so he can go to the movie theater and review movies. That's right. I'm not kidding. This is Devil Dog at the Movies.
Hello everybody, it's me Nate, aka Devil Dog. I just got back from seeing Suicide Squad. That's right, I'm going to get straight to the nitty gritty. This will be a somewhat spoiler free review because there's so much weirdness in this movie. Honestly, it's worth checking out. This naturally was James Gunn's golden ticket, so to say, where he was given free reign to make this movie after he had gotten fired for all that other stuff. Honestly, hands down, this is kind of a really hard movie to actually review. First of all, it's long. It's well over 2 hours long. And there's so many different characters in it. It's hard to keep track. Everything from Javelin to Boomerang, Harley Quinn. And here's the thing. I'm not really sure if this is just an alternate universe or canon. I don't think it's tied into any other movie. Definitely not the original Suicide Squad, because they kill a lot of the characters off in this. It's like 12, 13 characters, and by the end there's only like 4 left. Now, without going into detail, it centers on the plot of Amanda Waller, once again, collecting a ragtag group of people with superpowers to pretty much stick the chip in their neck and tell them, do this or we're going to kill you. And they're pretty much set out on a mission, quote, a suicide mission, to actually go to this location and blow it up. Now, naturally, along the way, a bunch of wacky stuff happens, and at the end, unlike the first Suicide Squad, which honestly had a lot of glitz and glamour but no soul to it, this at least does do some justice to the characters in it. Now, some of them get killed off so easy, like Mr. Arms that can detach and move across the area, and a lot of them seem like they're just created just for comedic effect. But they do a decent job, at least on the main character roster that you know is going to survive, because they actually go into their backstories and show you these characters evolve and explaining who they are, which I can at least say is a lot more than what they did for the original Suicide Squad. Now, this does have Margot Robbie reprising a role as Harley Quinn once again, even though her accent seems to change in every single movie she plays. But fortunately, they don't dive into her backstory because they know at this point everybody knows who Harley Quinn is, so they don't pull Batman and show her life story, explaining things. They do with Ratcatcher 2.0. They do with all the other characters you need to know, and they do it in a way enough to where they feel like real grounded characters, and they evolve throughout the story, which is very well done. Now, as for effects, this is a severely CGI-ridden movie. Now, there's so many parts in this that are CGI, and you would think for the most part, okay, like the giant shark guy that's voiced by Sylvester Stallone. Yes, the giant shark guy is voiced by Sylvester Stallone. He's obviously CGI, but there's so much CGI in this movie, and some of it looks okay, but most of it doesn't. Most of it stands out and is kind of an eyesore. Like all the gore. It is a rated R movie, so it's got tons of violence and gore. And while some of it's really cool looking, like people getting blown apart and slashed open, very few scenes are practical effects. It's all CGI gore. And it just doesn't look good to me. It looks fake. It's still entertaining. I still watch it and go, ooh, oh, so it's got some comedic parts to it. Like I said, the overall basic plot, without spoiling anything, is Amanda Waller gets these guys to go to this, this other country, this foreign country, to pretty much blow up this big old castle-like building. And naturally, they don't know exactly the reason why. They're just told to do it, or they'll get their chips detonated and they blow up. And like I said, they kill off a lot of characters, including Captain Boomerang and some other people. So that's why I don't think this is obviously canon. This is obviously another one of those weird universe movies, kind of like Joker was, where it's like an alternate take on what Suicide Squad would have been. That's the only way I can really say. Yeah, I mean, the way you have these characters in here, like Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, and all these other ones, including John Cena's character. And I will say, fortunately, at the end, it's not as stupid as the original, even though it's really cartoony. You could tell James Gunn had a lot of fun with this because he brought in a lot of characters that are just so cartoony that it just doesn't seem like it would be make a movie. I mean, even with the end, it centers on the Starfish character. If any of y'all know this character, let me know. I kind of briefly did a synopsis to figure out what this character was, and James Gunn stayed pretty true to it. Instead of a sky beam at the end, it's a giant kaiju. Seriously, a giant starfish kaiju destroying a town and sending out little baby starfishes that attach to the people's face and control them like zombies. Honestly, like I said, it's kind of hard to judge this movie. It's hard to do a review on it. Was it an entertaining movie? Yes, it was. Was the acting good? Yes, it was. I liked these characters, even Polka Dot Man. I liked the characters. They all had their own flavor, their own personality, their own weapons. For the most part, most of them got to partake and do stuff, while some were just throwaway characters. Like the Weasel character that they show in all the trailers. He's literally in it for like 5 minutes, and you don't see him until the very end again. And he does nothing. So there are a lot of characters in this movie just there, just pretty much to kill, really. The main characters, honestly, do great acting. They're really good developed characters. The plot is stupid. Come on. The plot is so ham-fisted and just so slapdash together. You can pretty much sum it down to the fact of, you guys go in here, blow up this building, and that's it. And then they try to tack on this other story with a supernatural being that they had found in outer space, which they brought down, and they were doing genetic testing on humans with, and all this other stuff that ties in. It was ham-fisted. It was still an entertaining movie. Hands down, there was only a couple parts that dragged. Oddly enough, some of the scenes with Harley Quinn, they didn't need to be in the movie. They really didn't tie into nothing. It was just an excuse for Harley Quinn to kill people. And it's not bad, but if you watch the movie, you'll see what I mean. There's so many parts in this movie that could have been cut down and cut out to save on time, to where it wouldn't have affected the movie's plot at all. Really, not at all. You have Harley Quinn get busted, and tortured. Then mysteriously the guys got her all done up and dressed up and was hanging out with her, and then she kills all of them to escape, and then they show up to try to save them. It's one of those movies where it's like you got this giant world they're in, and yet they just seem to show up at the right time and right place to meet up with the other characters, which is stupid. But let's be honest, if you want to have a realistic movie, it would never happen in a million years. None of this would. I'm not a fan of shaky cam. Every time there was a decent fight scene going on, there was too much of the shaky cam bullshit to where you didn't just focus a clear shot of the people fighting, to where you could still see a decent fight scene, but it was marred by these I wouldn't say shaky cam, just jerky cam. And I don't like that. So honestly, my personal feelings of this movie is it worth going to see? Actually, yes, it is way better than the original Suicide Squad. Hands down, the characters are better. The plot, despite it being stupid, is better. Honestly, there's no stupid sky beam this time. Instead, it's a giant starfish kaiju destroying a city. But if you just go into this treating it as a stupid popcorn flick, turn your brain off, don't nitpick, don't worry about everything that's dumb about it, and just eat some popcorn and enjoy the movie, it's an entertaining movie. It's way too long. Tons of scenes could have been cut out and it wouldn't have affected the movie at all. There's so many characters that were just shoehorned in just for like one bit deaths, and that was kind of sad. But in the end, can I actually recommend you go and see this movie? Honestly, I'm going to have to say it's better than the first one. It's worthy of watching, but I would probably say wait until you get like a matinee or a discount ticket to see it. I don't think it's worth the full price. And it actually does show one good fact, that even the best and worst directors, when they're given 100% total free reign on a movie, a lot of times it never really works out. There are certain times when they need to be controlled a bit. And in this, Gunn, I love you. You're a great director. And this is an entertaining movie. Way too long, way too many characters, really asinine plot. Way too much heavy focus on CGI gore. The jokes were kind of funny, hit and miss. And quit doing your shaky cam whenever you have fights. That's what I can say. But in the end, I can say it's definitely worth watching. If you have HBO Max or wherever it's at, go ahead and check it out. It's definitely interesting to see what he did with a lot of these characters. That honestly, he chose characters that you would never expect anyone to take in a million years, like Polka Dot Man, and turn them into really cool, well-developed characters. Really, and that's where this movie shines. Hands down is the acting and the characters. It is. Everything else was just kind of falls by the wayside and ends up being just a stupid popcorn flick. But if you're a fan of the classic Suicide Squad characters, I think you might like this. Don't sound like ideas that you would think for a good movie. I still say go see it, but man, this was a weird one, a weird long one. And like I said, I recommend you see it, but just try not to pay full price on it. And go into it, like I said, with a couple beers in you, and just don't go in trying to think too much, because this one's kind of a dumb movie. And Michael Rooker, why? Yeah, he's in it for about 5 minutes. Well, this was Nate, a.k.a. Devil Dog, and I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Please leave in the comments below if you've seen Suicide Squad, if you plan on seeing it, and what did you think of this particular movie? Did you like it? Did you like the first one better? What were your highlights of this movie? What were the parts you hated the most? Make sure to hit that like icon. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Please leave comments below, and remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out till next time. By the way, I like Polka Dot Man the best.